You can choose different fonts that you want to use. The colors here for your fonts. Buttons, you can set on a global basis what button colors you would like to use. And then we have a choice of layouts here. Not a big choice with this particular thing, but anyway. Product page, we'll look at later. We've talked about menus briefly, we've talked about widgets. Homepage settings. So here, what you can do for your homepage, let's check we're on the homepage. Yep. What you can do here is you can either just list all your most recent posts, and that's really geared towards people who have blogs and write blog posts, because then it makes sense that what you want people to see on your front page are your latest posts. But if you're building a different type of site, and WordPress has moved far, far beyond just being a blog, that's for sure, then you might choose a static page instead. And then you can choose whichever you want to be your static page. Okay, and there we have our sample page. Okay. E-commerce we'll look at later, because that really is a topic of its own. If you wanted to get into coding, this is where you would do it. This is where you would add CSS so that you could style your website more to your liking. But with the use of Flatson, the need for additional CSS is a lot less than it might otherwise be. And that's about it, really, on customization. So I'll just close it and you hit publish. If you don't hit publish, everything will disappear when I move away from it. I will do that now. Okay, and now we're back to our dashboard, the back end. And we've looked through all of these. Now, I mentioned earlier about plugins and how you really don't want to be messing with the plugin editor. Well, the same thing goes for your theme with bells on. Avoid the theme editor. Never, ever, ever try to change your theme from the back end. It's the best way to get the white screen of death, which is every website builder's worst nightmare, where everything goes white and you look at the screen and go, OMG, what now? Have I lost everything? That's why backups are just so important. Okay, so we've looked through this. Let's have a quick look at users. So we can have a look at all users, or we can have a look at our profile, which will just be me in there. So when we're looking at this option here, we don't really want to disable the visual editor when writing, and that becomes less relevant when you are using Flatson anyway, so we won't worry about that too much now. They show you if you've got any errors with your coding. We don't want to disable that either. You can choose your admin color scheme, so we can make it nice and bright, whatever you want to do. It's quite handy to do this, because then you start to associate, if you're building a number of websites, then you see more clearly which one you're working on at any particular time, rather than all being the default, all looking the same. So that can be quite handy. I always have this, because if you take it away, let me show you it with, and then we'll show you without. This is the admin bar here. And this is really important for anyone who's building a site. You really want to be able to access the back end of your site quickly without having to find out the login details and go back and edit it. Go back and find where you're up to. So it's really handy if you're on the front page to have your admin bar, because it gives you immediate access to your dashboard, your themes, your widgets, your menus. You can customize, which is that live preview that we talked about before. You can see how many updates need doing, whether you've got any comments, and you can, from the front end, add all these different things should you want. and you can edit your page as well. So my advice would be always keep your toolbar checked, because if you don't, then this is what happens. And it's frustrating because if you don't have your back end open at the time, you've got to find your login details and do all of that. So if you ever find that you're missing your admin bar, the first thing you need to do is just check that it's been ticked here. And we'll update the profile. Done.